Hello and welcome to the Double X Factor, CNBC TV 18 show about women for everybody. From work-life issues to unusual perspectives on the gender debate, the Double X Factor showcases the world from a woman's point of view. We've met a variety of women, from corporate leaders to entrepreneurs to sportswomen and homemakers on the show. And over the past 12 weeks, we've seen up close how women are making the world a more equal place for themselves. In our season finale today, Manjeet Kaur, Mandeep Kaur, Sini Jose, three of an incredible quartet of athletes tell us what it takes to make champions. As wedding season holds sway, find out what women are looking for from marriage. And our guest this week, Lok Sabha MP and NCP politician Supriya Sule. Let's start the show by talking to our guest this week. Remember, to be a member of Parliament is to participate at the highest level of decision-making in India. When the 108th Amendment to the Constitution, popularly called the Women's Reservation Bill that was introduced and passed in the Rajya Sabha in March, does become law, a lot more women will need to look at electoral politics as a career option. We'll find out what that entails from our guest today, Member of Parliament in the Lok Sabha and member of the Nationalist Congress Party, or NCP, Supriya Sule, who joins the Double X Factor from New Delhi. Supriya, thanks for your time. First of all, tell us, what has it been like to be stuck like MPs have been over the past month because the winter session of Parliament was washed out over the stalemate over the opposition's demand for a joint parliamentary committee probe into the 2G scam?
Personally, for me, it's been a huge disappointment and a complete waste of time, because we were hoping, yes, there were issues, we were very keen on debating them, discussing them, but unfortunately none of that happened. So for me, it's been a complete personal letdown. And for each MP, most of us wanted a debate.
How did you spend time in the past month or so, given that Parliament didn't conduct business?
No, I think most of us spent a lot of time together, maybe in Central Hall, inside Parliament, attending some meetings, or, working in the library. And that's the only way we could have spent time. It is just unfortunate that nor did we work here and nor could we be connected to our constituencies or anything like that. So it's really been a letdown.
We were watching the winter session closely because the bill that protects women from sexual harassment in the workplace was to be introduced. In fact, I believe it was introduced in the Lok Sabha on December 7th. What happens to it now?
No, it is introduced by the Honourable Minister. She did it in this entire chaos, but we at least could introduce it. And we are keeping our fingers crossed that in the next session, which will be the budget session, once the budget is passed, this would be on top of our priority to get it passed. And what would be nice is if we pass it by consensus in both houses, it will send a very clear message to the country that we mean business and we are committed to getting this implemented.
But Supriya, explain to the layperson, in the budget session, does a bill like this really come up for consideration, given that there will be so much business to be conducted and a backlog of other bills that are pending?
No, I'm sure, because every issue is critical and important. So once the railway budget is done, once the general budget is done, this is equally important. So we are definitely going to try our best, and the Honourable Minister is very keen on getting it pushed and, get it going as soon as possible. So we are just keeping our fingers crossed.
In March 2010, the Rajya Sabha passed the Women's Reservation Bill. Supriya, what happens next to this historic bill? Because it now needs to be introduced, debated and then passed in the Lok Sabha.
The UPA is very, very clear, and we as the NCP as allies have been very, very keen on getting this bill, reservation bill, passed, and we are hoping to get it implemented before the next Lok Sabha election comes. But what would be even nicer if we could all do it with consensus. It will send a much stronger message, because even I think BJP is very keen on it. So I think we're all trying to put it together, and hopefully in the next session it comes. So I think it's a great window of opportunity for the women of this country. So I think we're all very, very keen. You'll notice across party lines, all the women MPs get together and have always pushed for getting this bill through. So I think once the Rajya Sabha now sends it, it will come to Lok Sabha, it will be introduced by the minister. It will be debate, discussed, and hopefully we would like to unanimously pass it.
There are cynics who believe that it may be historic, but it is just symbolic, and that this might just get into the deep freeze. What would you say to allay the cynicism?
I won't say that. I think it's very clear. Even if you see, the UPA has made it very clear that we want to get this implemented as soon as possible. So I am an extremely optimistic person. So I am very hopeful that it will come, in the next couple of sessions, and we'll try our best to get it passed ASAP.
You've been an MP for about 5 years. In fact, you moved from the Rajya Sabha to the Lok Sabha last year by contesting elections. What has this experience been like? And, if the Women's Reservation Bill does become law, you'll have so many more women that parties will need to induct, isn't it? Roughly 188 women in the Lok Sabha, if you go by the current composition, will be needed.
I think, if you look at somebody like me or several other women like Priya Dutt or Brinda Kharaji or, so many young or even senior experienced, if you see Sushma ji, there are so many across party lines, very, very enterprising women today in Parliament, in both houses. So I think it's always nice to have more women also come in, and it'll be an equal opportunity. We'd like to debate a lot of issues which may be related to women, but the country needs to go towards gender equality. That would be really developing, because if you notice in most developed countries, it's about gender equality. But unfortunately in India, because of lack of education at the grassroots level, we still see women definitely need empowerment.
While there are some notable exceptions, many, or rather most female politicians and MPs, including yourself, have inherited a political legacy. Is it easy for women to start a political career from scratch? What should they look to do if they want to get into politics and into Parliament?
But there are a lot of women across party lines who haven't come from political families. Yes, definitely people like me have benefited immensely to begin with, because we have come with a family name attached to our names. For sure, that's a huge advantage. But eventually what happens is, when you go to the people for votes, it's up to the people whether to give us. So maybe the first year you do benefit because of your father, uncle, grandmother, grandfather, can be anybody. But look at the President of India today, Pratibha Patil. She's a woman who has come all the way from Youth Congress to Maharashtra politics, all the way up to becoming today the President of India. So there are umpteen examples like this of women from, no political background as such, but have contributed to the nation's development. So I'm very hopeful that there will be women. And see, the whole Panchayat Raj, which has been made so strong. So there are a lot of enterprising women today we work with very closely in our Jilla Parishads, in our Panchayat Samitis, MLAs. So, I think there'll be a whole new crop over there waiting to come to Delhi.
Supriya, one final question. 2010 has seen a series of controversies and scams, starting with the IPL scam, the CWG scam, the Adarsh Society scam, the Karnataka land grab scam, the 2G scam, of course, and the Radia tapes. There is a sense of pessimism and cynicism about the quality of public life. What in this scenario has been a source of inspiration for you, or something that has been memorable in the year that's gone by?
No, there is always cynicism when the system sometimes fails to deliver. I think in a way it's good that things are coming out. There is probably a time to clean up the system so there are no loopholes. And I think the onus is even on us, and even partly to you as the media, that we together need to build and make a difference in the growth story of our country and build the confidence. Because I think the onus is even on us, every politician at whatever level that you are. I think we need to go to the people and convince them and tell them that, look here, we are not here just to make money. Please don't misunderstand. We want you all to have better livelihoods. We want the next generation of India to benefit from the policies that are made by through governance. So I'm very optimistic, and I'm sure that, yes, it has left a bad taste memory for each one of us through going through this difficult period of India. It's definitely sad that the world is looking at us. It's not just our people. So I think it's time we get our act together and move forward with optimism, with commitment for India's growth story.
So pick one thing that was memorable for you.
I think for me is my constituency this year. There is a lot of dry area in my constituency. But I think we've been exceptionally lucky. It's been a very good year. We've had very good rain. We've had good crop. So I think that was a big moment for me to have, not to worry about any drinking water issues anywhere, even in our entire state and probably even in our country this year. So I think that's been a big moment for me personally.
Supriya Sule, thank you for your time. We wish you all the best. Hope there's a lot of work in the next session of Parliament. On the Double X Factor, it's time for a break now. But on the other side, wedding season is underway, and here's what brides are looking for from weddings and, more importantly, from marriage.